We're live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this charity game of Bluebeard's Bride, Dark Carnival. I am very excited to be here. I go by she, they pronouns, and I am your groundskeeper. I am your GM for tonight. I will be guiding you and the wonderful players that we have here through the dark and intimate horror that is Bluebeard's Bride. Of course, before we get started, I'd like to do a few administrative things. One, Bluebeard's Bride is a tale of feminine horror. We are going to get into the dark and we are going to get into a lot of sensitive topics. We are using safety tools behind the scenes. We are using lines and veils and the X and the no cards to check in. As a reminder, X cards are we are reaching content that I'm don't want in the game, I'm uncomfortable with. We like to pause, rewind it, and do another go. End cards being we're approaching an X, but we're not quite there. Or this content is something that we'd like to put behind the curtain or cut to black. It's okay in the game, but we're not going to go in depth in it. And of course, our O card is our we're okay. I may be crying, I may be freaking out, but I like to continue with what we're doing. But of course, there's an open door policy here. So if there's anything in here that is upsetting to you, that you feel like you need to leave, please take care of yourself. I am not going to be offended. I am not holding you here. I want you to be able to enjoy the chills and thrills of this game on your own terms. So please make sure to practice some self-care as we go through this dark game. Before I get into the donations and all that stuff, how you, my dear audience, can interact, let's go around and meet lovely, lovely people here. And let's start off with Natalie. Hello, Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie, also known as Chaotic Rogue. I'm really excited because I've never played this before, so I'm super excited for this.
It's going to be great. I mean, we are learning by play for anyone who is near here. So we will all be learning how to play Bluebeard's Bride throughout this game. And next up, let's go over to Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm wearing more eyeliner than I've ever worn before. Very excited to be here playing Bluebeard's Bride.
Awesome. Very excited to have you back and during this game once more. And of course, last but not least, we have Lauren. Hello.
Hello. I'm here. I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns, and today I'm playing the role I was born to play. Totally leaning into my type, hardcore. I'm playing the virgin, everybody.
Yep. Super in character, in type. Yes. Right. So before we get into our setup process of the game, which is really a very integral part of this whole game, should let you know that, dear audience, you are here, and this is a charity stream after all. So we have a set of donations that you can contribute, that all the donation will be going to Yellowhammer Fund to help support women having access to abortion clinics and having control of their own bodies. It is a very important subject, especially as we go into a game about feminine horror and a lot of the darkness that women experience in life. But all of these donations are ways that you can affect the game. Because what kind of carnival would it be if there was no audience to cheer on the shows or to boo or to guide them in every which way? And so there is certainly a way to get into that. There is a command, I believe, that will give up the whole list of donations so you can see what you can do. Just make sure that when you donate, shout out what you would like to do if it is a multiple donation kind of thing, and we will make sure to implement that into the game. Right, and at times I may be asking for some suggestions from the audience. If I am kind of getting to a point where, I need some ideas. And what better way to draw from you, my dear audience? All right, looks like we already have some donations coming in, so thank you very much. I am noting those down. It appears that we have already started to worsen the horrors already. It's great. It's fine. It's going to be a lovely time. But first, before we start getting into the game, we must know a little bit about the scenario. Bluebeard's Bride Dark Carnival takes place not in the manor or the mansion of the typical Bluebeard's game. Rather, this is a circus. And not just any circus, but the Carnival of Dark Wonders. And in this Carnival, Dark Wonders, owned by a man named Bluebeard, who he had been recruiting for some new showgirls to join his act. And it happens to be that our showgirl tonight has received a letter. Charlottesville, Virginia, September 17th. To my dearest showgirl, it gives me great pleasure to inform you that your flawless audition on the 1st of September left me wanting more. To satiate myself, I must insist you accept my offer of employment and become a showgirl with my traveling carnival immediately. I know by now you must have heard the disturbing rumors about the fates of my former showgirls. These allegations are slander and falsehood. The carnival is a dying art form, and there are those in this country who would see us shut down permanently. I am told that it is distasteful for a show of the 1950s to have too many real freaks. The public would prefer to have their entertainment be feats of comfortable showmanship or deaf delusion, rather than confrontation with the monstrous, bizarre, or otherworldly. They do not understand as you and I do, my dear. I have been watching you for some time now, and the position of my top-billed showgirl will no doubt call upon your many skills, talents, and gifts. It is not an easy position to hold, no doubt. However, I trust in your abilities and extend to you this ring of keys and some tickets so that you may explore the carnival yourself. Sincerely, Bluebeard. So that's where we are. But of course, before we can understand our showgirl, we must understand the bits of her psyche that make her up. And so our players here are not playing the showgirl, or rather, they're not playing a showgirl. They all play parts of this one showgirl's mind. And so we should probably learn a little bit more about who the showgirl is and who these different aspects of her mind are. And we do so by going through these questions that are provided to us in the game. So let's just go and see. We have who everyone is playing. What are the different parts of the showgirl psyche that we shall be seeing tonight? Natalie, who are you playing tonight?
I'm playing the witch.
You are playing the witch.
Yes.
Lovely. The witch, the one that seeks power and has command over perhaps some magic of her own. Mm-hmm. And Emma, who are you playing?
The diva.
Yes, you are playing the diva, the one who commands attention, the one who seeks it out, the one who shows off what the showgirl can do. And Lauren, who are you playing?
I'm playing the virgin, Kiana.
Yes, the virgin, the childlike wonderment, the innocence that is within this showgirl. And so let's go through the questions, shall we? And figure out a little bit more about the showgirl herself. Let's just go in alphabetical order. So, diva. What does the showgirl's mouth look like?
Her mouth looks like it looks like a very sort of classic 50s sort of mouth where she's got an upper lip that's like really strong and you're never quite sure if she's going to snarl at you or she's going to smile and laugh or say something nice or say something mean. It's all just like Elvis Presley lips right there.
Wonderful. And how do others keep her quiet?
By complimenting her.
Interesting. And let's go over, before we continue over there, Virgin. What do the showgirl's eyes look like?
They're big and wide and green, except for toward the pupil where they almost burst into a sunflower yellow.
Very captivating. But how do others know you want them when they gaze into your eyes?
Well, I would quickly avert my eyes so they couldn't see all my secrets.
Eyes are the window to the soul, after all. And what is the showgirl's hair like?
Her hair is long and dark with these thick ringlets. Actually, a little bit like how Emma's hair is, but imagine I was like, it's perfect. That's already what I was envisioning. So thank you for preparing. And it goes down to about lower back.
And how do others like you to wear it?
Others prefer it to be long and loose with there's little gems kind of just braided into it because they like seeing that little bit of glitz just as the light catches it.
Wonderful. And let's go back over to Diva. What are you leaving behind from your provincial life to become Bluebeard's showgirl?
I'm leaving behind my baby sister. She's my baby sister. And she is very sweet and she wants to be just like me. And I kind of don't want her to be.
And Virgin, what are you leaving behind?
I'm leaving behind a treasure box of tokens that the village boys would give me to show their love.
And what do you leave behind?
My books, my large library collection of just stories, but also resources and everything I've learned.
All right. And let's move on to the next question. Diva, when you first met, what loving gesture did Bluebeard make that won you over?
He did the stupid thing that they say you're supposed to do in books, where if there's a puddle, you're supposed to take your jacket off and put it over something. And he did that for me, and nobody's ever done that for me.
And Virgin?
He took my hand and bent to kiss it, but instead of kissing it on the top, he turned it over and kissed me at my pulse point.
Interesting. And
He did the typical thing, but not in a typical way. He brought me flowers, but they weren't, roses or anything so cliche. They were wildflowers. There was sprigs of rosemary and lavender kind of bundled within it too, and the daisies and fresh flowers from outside.
And Diva, what gift did you present to Bluebeard before the audition? And why did you choose this?
What did I give him? I didn't really give him something so much as it's a little silly. I sang him a song that I had written for somebody else, but they really liked it. And so I told him that I wrote it for him.
He never needs to know.
No, he'll never meet Billy. It's fine.
And Virgin, what did you give him?
I wrapped some cloth around his eyes and led him in a dance. And during the dance, as we were spinning, I gave him a kiss on the cheek.
And what did you give him?
I gave him one of the necklaces that I tend to wear. It's a wire-wrapped amethyst that's on a leather cord, meant for typically protection.
All right. And our last little showgirl question before we move on. Diva, do you trust your generous employer Bluebeard, or do you hold unkind suspicion? And why is that?
Of course I trust him. He wants me.
Of course. And Virgin?
Of course I trust him. What's not to trust?
And Witch?
I am the little dark seedling of doubt in the brain of the showgirl, where I don't entirely trust him. There's no reason, just some sort of gut instinct, some feeling, some sort of almost premonition of maybe he's not all that he seems. But I'm that tiny little voice in the back of your head that you tell to shut up, so.
Of course.
Of course.
All right. So now we understand our showgirl and we understand parts of her psyche. But we must understand the relationships with each other. For these are sisters, but sisters don't always quite get along. And so we must go through and see what their relationships are like. Diva, your sisters are dull and lackluster, but Blank has potential for showmanship. Explain why you wish to develop your talent.
I think the Virgin has some potential for showmanship because everybody likes a star who doesn't know all of their power.
All right. And one of your sisters has repeatedly sabotaged your chances at stardom. Explain why you continually allow this to happen.
The witch gets in my way because she keeps on wanting to do weird things, like give weird crystals on a string. But I let her do that because I like her darkness, and sometimes it's very useful.
All right. And let's move over to the Virgin. Virgin, you trust your sisters for the most part, but one of them blackens your innocence with her every word. Explain how she became your enemy.
The witch is my enemy. She constantly calls into question every little thing to the point of driving me insane. She has no wonder, only cynicism, and it exhausts me.
Wonderful. And another of your sister often helps you play tricks on the others. Explain a time when they were your ally in mischief.
The diva has a wonderful sense of showmanship, of drama, and is also the only one of us good at any kind of deceit. So when I tricked the witch down to the creek so I could perhaps push her in, the diva's the one who got her there first.
Wonderful. And witch, your sisters are not nearly as important as power, but one of them is a useful tool. Explain how they helped your pursuit of blasphemous craft.
The diva is probably the most useful tool in the sense of she manages to gain attention and energy that helps fuel what I try to do. It helps fuel the power that I seek.
And another one of your sister draws an evil to her. Explain what you have done to keep that evil at bay.
The Virgin is the one who draws the evil to her, if no one's surprised. I know. And so very much always trying to stealthily find ways to protect her, to keep evil away, to trick it away from us, whether it's by doing something weird or unnatural or coming off just strangely. It helps keep the bad things away.
All right. And now we understand not just as Showgirl, but also the sisters, and how complicated one's mind can truly be. So, all of you are essentially, in this game, controlling one person. You may talk amongst each other as perhaps voices or parts of yourselves chat amongst each other in order to choose what to do next. One sister will be in more control, as she will have the signet ring, a gift from Bluebeard, in order to show that you belong at the carnival, even if you aren't officially an employee yet. And so let's just roll to see who will be going first, who will have the ring first, and then they get to choose what the ticket looks like. So let's do 1d3, with 1 being the diva, 2 being the virgin, and 3 being the witch. 2, virgin. Virgin, you have the signet ring, and you have the pile of carnival tickets, all stamped with Carnival Dark Wonders on it. But you may choose to describe what this ticket looks like as we begin our tale here of Bluebeard's Bride.
As the showgirl peeks through the pile of tickets, one catches her eye. It's cotton candy pink with gold filigree markings along the side that says admit 2 instead of admit 1. And it feels there's a roughness to the paper that she spends some time playing with.
All right. As you find the tent that this ticket belongs to, the tent beckons to you. You enter. The flap closes behind you. You are within what looks like to be, at first, you enter to a tent and expect a room, but instead you find yourself at the front of what could be described as a tunnel, where the bottom is filled with water, and there is a small boat set on it. This appears to be what one may call a tunnel of love, and you do see a sign in the neons. flickering above it. And there is nobody else in here, just yourself. Although the boat is big enough for two. As you peer into the waters, you can smell the kind of whatever that perhaps a preservative or something within it. There's this kind of sharp sourness in the air that lingers. And the boat itself is painted that same bubblegum pink. But you do note that there are two oars next to it, or rather attached to it, each kind of carved into, with the handles intricately, into what appears to be dancing human figures.
Isn't that beautiful, sisters?
You would, of course, take us to the place where it is meant for couples.
It smells disgusting in here.
That too.
I think it's pretty. The neon light reflects off the water.
There is this kind of pinkish glow about this place. The light doesn't penetrate the water, rather just reflecting it. And as you peer in, it does look, well, obviously deep enough to hold this boat.
Well, I say we get in.
In the boat?
No, in the water.
Don't go in the water, please.
No.
Let's just go in the boat.
That was my attempt at a joke.
Oh, you should keep trying.
I get in the boat.
Okay. Of course, at any time, any sister may use the maiden moves. These are the moves to use. You can just say, I'd like to investigate a mysterious object. You can ask to take a look around and see what's going on. You can also, remembering things. And you can also, you can also care for somebody. So at any point, any sister may do that. And of course, the sister with the signet ring, who is currently the virgin, may use any of the signet moves. So do you just get into the boat then?
I'm getting into the boat with the intent of looking more closely at the carved oars.
All right. You may investigate a mysterious object, in which case you may ask me a few questions. I believe that you did receive a donation.
Yes.
Where you do get to ask another question off the list. So you get to ask me 3 questions instead of just 2.
What about this item is odd or uncanny?
Well, that's a very good question, isn't it? As you lift up the oar a little bit, it does have more heft than you expect it to. You expect it's probably easier to maneuver in the water, but trying to pull it up so you can see it more is a bit of a task for one so fragile as yourself. But as you kind of lay the handle of it over your lap to examine it and trace the wood with your hands, you do see, again, these finely carved human figures that kind of intertwine to make up this one handle. Most of them in states of undress of some form, or at least in skimpy carnival clothing, but they don't seem to mind their state at all. Closely intertwined. However, as you touch it, it feels warm, as if somebody had perhaps been touching it before. It has the same body temperature, almost, the way that when you touch something with the same body temperature, it almost seems to meld into your touch. And there's also perhaps a more give to this wood than you would have expected as you hold it in your hands.
She continues to run her hands over it, feeling the like curves of the carving. What memories does this item hold?
As you examine it more and you pull it even further up, you see along the actual paddle part of it, there have been initials carved into it. It's usually initials plus another set of initials, H and K plus S and W. And these seem to actually cover the entire paddle part of it that was dipped into the water before. So this is this seems to carry the memories of a lot of different couples.
She takes a coin out of her purse and starts to carve her own initials in it.
Okay.
Plus B. And why did Bluebeard keep this item? Why hasn't he replaced it?
As you finish carving in your own initials and B in it, for a moment, you put your coin back into your purse and look at your handiwork. And then you see a slight almost flicker to the carvings, or rather to the initials that have been etched into this ore. And where there were all sorts of unique pairings of initials, there is now many unique initials, but all of them have plus B.
She drops it back into place.
It splashes back into the dark waters, a few droplets reaching into the boat and landing on your lap. Few droplets now along your skirt.
Not so special, are we?
Well, if I'm not, neither are you.
Can I take stock of the area?
Yes, you can. When you take stock of a done situation, you get to ask me a question.
Excellent. The question I'd like to ask is, what stalks the showgirl from the shadows?
As you watch the ore splash back into the water, and you kind of smooth out your skirt with the droplets of water as if to kind of brush it off before it could sink in and perhaps permeate your clothes with that same sharp, sour smell in the air. Your eyes are drawn back to the water. And now perhaps the angle of the light and where you're sitting, you can see just a little bit more. As you look in, you see what appears to be a glimpse of a hand reaching out before it disappears back into the waters. Hey,
that's a shiver from fear.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like a shiver from fear.
That was a weird shiver from fear, but that was definitely a shiver from fear.
Okay, well, with the shiver from fear, let's just go through and see what that says. Shiver from fear. When you shiver from fear, name the thing that you are most afraid of will happen. And then I get to tell you how it's worse than you fear.
I'm scared that something is going to grab me and pull me into the water.
How is it worse than what you fear? You see more hands, not just one set, but many, as they reach up, as if to try to bring you in. There are many things that wish to bring you down into the water, and there are many things that wish for you to stay with them in the darkness, in the cold, where all you can see is above you lovers going by, where all perhaps you are both alone and never alone again. And with that, you may keep the signet ring and choose two of the options, or pass the signet ring and choose one, such as it infects the showgirl with a perversion. It has the showgirl in its clutches right now, which speaks to you, and you take one trauma, just you.
It infects me with its perversion, and it has me in its clutches. I'm keeping the ring.
Lovely. And it appears that we have had another donation for the horrors to get worse. Thank you very much, my dear audience. I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. All right, you infect the perversion with, it infects the showgirl with perversion, and who do you hand it off to?
Oh no, I'm keeping it.
Oh, you're keeping it.
And it has me in its clutches.
Oh, lovely. Something calls to you about this prospect of never having to be by yourself again, of knowing that you'd forever be in the embrace of one person or another. And so you, perhaps a compulsion, an impulse, the showgirl leans over the edge of the boat and dips her hand into that sour smelling water and feels the brush of cold flesh upon yours as a hand starts to reach up and take yours ever so gently, like a lover would, before it starts to pull you down. What would you like to do?
I am not strong.
You're
I
not
will probably cry out.
Oh, you're going to cry out for help?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you can make that roll for me. Cry out for help. That would be a resilience. I do have a macro in there, but otherwise you can just roll a 2d6. 6. Unfortunately, on a 6, your voice echoes empty and down this tunnel. Nobody seems to hear you, other than your sisters and whatever lurks below the waters. And as you cry out, and that is your last breath before it brings it down and drags you in. And you feel the coldness of the water hit your face and the rest of your body. Your clothes, glitzy and glamorous, immediately taking on the water and just grabbing at you and pulling you down, down, and down.
She starts to slip out of some of that heavier material, thinking that it can't possibly really be hands. Maybe her dress is caught on something, and so she just tries to take off some of the heavier things and keep her head above water.
Okay. As you do so, you kind of, in your shock, you do have a bit of that water in your mouth, and again, it's that acrid taste of something sour, and also there's almost this tinge of like copper to it, kind of like that off aftertaste deep in the back of your throat. You are realizing very quickly that you may be starting to drown very shortly if you start, even as you're taking off as you're shedding off layers, you can still feel as you look up, the pink of that light dissipating further and further.
Do I feel hands on me?
It definitely does feel like hands on you.
Okay, then I grab one of them, and instead of pushing it away, I bring it around me.
Okay. As you pull this hand and just wrap it around you in some sort of embrace, you become face to face with a woman. Her long blonde hair floating in the waters, pale, but in a way that one that hadn't seen sunlight and had been waterlogged would be pale. Her eyes are closed, her lips slightly parted. No bubbles come out from her lips, but she is faced with you. And as you bring her close, perhaps just inches away, you see her eyes start to slowly open.
I'm going to get closer to her,
Okay.
thinking that she may be drowning like I am. I'm going to give her some of my air. So I pull her close into a kiss and blow my air into her lungs.
They feel like a caress the horror.
It is, and I'm my archetype is the victim, so I'm gonna take a trauma and roll a 10 plus.
Oh, tricky. All right. When you caress a horror, on a hit, the horror is swayed by your stroke. Direct what was intended for you to another victim. So as you take her face into your hand, all of you can feel that coldness, almost as if it's starting to seep your body heat away and into it. And as you feel your lips press against these and you breathe what remaining bit of air that you have into this woman, the eyes, although they were opening to reveal what seemed to be glassy white with no pupil or iris in them, they close once more into the kiss, and you can actually feel her as you were close together enough that you can feel the ribcage expand as if taking that breath in. And suddenly you are back near the surface of the water. And as you have your hand kind of on the edge of the river, quote unquote, you do see another carnival goer coming inside, a couple.
I'm going to stick to the edges of the river and make my way deeper in and watch them.
You see this couple, a young man and woman, giggling to each other. You do not catch their exact words, but you can guess their intentions. And they see the boat, and the man will gently offer his hand and help the woman in. And you feel that tug on what remains of your dress, of that hand reminding, want somebody to join them in their cold embrace beneath the water.
The Virgin furrows her brows as she has been watching this couple. Her expression isn't quite blank, but it's not the childlike wonderment, it's childlike envy. And she takes the hand in hers once more and just slightly guides it back the way she came.
Yeah, so you just gently guide this hand towards the boat. And as you stick to the shadows, you watch as this couple pushes off using those oars and start to go towards the water or further down this tunnel. And suddenly the boat rocks violently, and you hear cries of surprise as the boat capsizes, dropping the man and woman into the waters. And you see those pale white hands reaching up and pulling them into the depths with them, leaving you alone.
I would like to propose a truth about this room.
All right. What would you like to propose about this tent?
Obviously, this attraction is unsafe, and I'm sure that our employer, Bluebeard, will want to know all about it. But it's just the natural condition of something that's left in a state of disrepair. Surely not his fault. He can't manage everything.
He is a very busy ringleader after all.
And I will take a token of faithfulness.
Mm-hmm. What object do you take from this room?
A splinter of wood from the ore.
You find a splinter of the ore, and it just happens to be the part of the paddle that has your initials and Bluebeard's. And as you pull yourself out of the water, shake yourself off a bit, look behind them. No love is quiet as you take that token of faithfulness and exit out of the tent.
And I will pass the ring to the diva as I stick my tongue out at the witch.
Lovely. And thanks to donations, we do have one advantage for every sister and one randomized one. So I will roll that and see who gets that. The same D3. Let's go. Witch, you get an extra advantage. So this is just a re-roll that you may use at any given point. Let's just actually say your next roll will be, that's when you must use your advantage.
Yeah.
But Diva, you have the ring, you have the tickets.
Yes.
What does the ticket for the next tent look like?
I think the ticket for the next tent looks like it's all different colors, and each color is sort of like a different triangle, so the whole thing kind of looks like a beach ball. And it's made out of like vinyl instead of regular cardboard. It's a special one. And it has like extra happy. Admit one. I don't know. Some way.
Okay, so vinyl.
Yes. Vinyl beach ball ticket.
Beach ball ticket.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You have to like punch it. Maybe it's got like punch cards. It's like punch card.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. You find the tent that beckons towards you, and you enter. The flap closes behind you. It is at first dark here, wherever you have stepped in, but then there is suddenly a spotlight that turns on. Although you would normally revel in this kind of sudden attention, you do think about how wet you are right now, how particularly you just got dunked into some water previous way, and you're also not as dressed as you used to be, as you did have to shed some layers.
Yes.
Whether that bothers you or not, I don't know, but that is certainly your state right now. In the center, you seem to be standing in the center of a smaller showcase tent, I think we could call. There aren't any specific stands for audiences, but there's certainly space. And in the center of this dirt-packed room is a table. And this table has a bunch of different items on it. Particularly, you do see what looks like to be a bunch of that same kind of vinyl rubber ball, small enough to be carried in one's hands, that are kind of broken across this table, uh, and a bunch of other stuff like different fruits and other stuff. This appears to be some form of juggling act. Um, and you do see, yeah, different foods and all that stuff as well. Kind of just placed on this simple wooden table in the center.
Is there like a pineapple there?
Yeah, yes, there is.
I think I'll go to the pineapple because we live in the country and you don't see those very much. I'm going to investigate the table, but I'm most interested in the pineapple and other things.
So you'd like to investigate a mysterious object?
Yes.
All right. You may ask me 2 of those questions.
Yes, I'm going to ask, what about this item is odd or uncanny?
Good question, of course.
There's so many things that seems uncanny about it. or the beach ball too, because I have like a beach.
So just anything on this table?
Anything on the table.
God, sorry, I just looked in the chat. God damn it, Katie. It's not reverse.
More apple than pie. Like an apple with spike.
What is odd or uncanny about this item? I think immediately as you get close to it, there is that strong fragrance of sweet fruit. Foreign to you, you've never seen a pineapple before. Never.
No.
In person. Never alone be so close to one. But as you trace your hands over it and you do feel the kind of the spikes, not quite piercing your skin, but certainly rough against your hands. What is uncanny about this? As you start to pick it up, though, it almost seems to rot within your hands.
Oh.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I've never. It's,
you know better than to touch things.
Is that not what they're supposed to do?
You could have asked.
And nothing in this place does what it's supposed to do.
We do, don't we?
Unfortunately.
We were told to look around. We're looking around.
Yeah.
And as you kind of retract your hand from this, it does kind of it's like the rot of it, like of too soft fruit, which just squishes in. And as you do, you kind of, as you drop it, you see it splat across the ground. And you see within it appears to be another rubber ball.
A rubber ball inside the pineapple.
That's not natural at all.
Maybe it's a joke.
A joke?
I don't find it particularly funny.
You don't find anything funny.
Except for you sometimes.
I would like to investigate this mysterious object.
Well, you can ask me another question.
Oh, I can ask you, why did Bluebeard keep this item?
Weird item, isn't it?
It is. Pineapple ball.
And you kind of like fit it, you kind of have to shake your hand off some of like the sweet liquid that had kind of gone onto your hands. And as you say, this isn't this might be a joke. There is a voice very close behind you. Says, not quite a joke, but perhaps more of a prop. And as you spin around, you see a man, not Bluebeard, but man dressed as if he probably belongs here in the carnival. He has suspenders and that same red and white beach ball colors that the different balls have. You also, he has a kind of pencil mustache. His hair has been slicked back, and there's kind of a bowler hat on top. He is quite handsome, as he gives you a winning grin.
Say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
No, stranger danger. Come on, guys. Been through this.
And he just he like tilts his head with the hat. Says, "It appears that you have come across my setup for my act."
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't ruin anything.
Nothing that can't be replaced.
You have more pineapples?
How do you replace that?
Ask him if we can try some.
No, don't eat this. Come on.
Not that one.
What did the diva say? Did she listen to her sisters? And what did
She asks, do you have more pineapples?
I certainly do, but and he looks up the one that had splatted onto the ground, and says, and he like leans down and plucks out the ball. He like takes the edge of his clothes and just like wipes it off, and says, but perhaps I should wait to bring that one out until closer to my act.
I guess so. I've never seen one in person, but I like your act. I have a beach party number that I do, and so I thought it was interesting here.
And he'll raise a brow, not quite questioning, but more curious than anything. Well, that certainly sounds interesting. I can teach you a little bit of how to juggle if you'd like to add that to your act.
I suppose. Is there anything you'd like to add to your act?
Oh, no.
Yes,
The witch in the back.
Yes.
No.
I'm sure we can have a better chat about it. And he'll kind of take the ball that he had said, here, catch, and he'll toss the ball towards you. And you catch it. Again, it's kind of can fit in your palm. Not that difficult.
Okay.
And he'll with a hand, he's able to actually like lean over the table and like grab like 3 balls in like one hand,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll put them into his pocket and just go, all right. Have you ever tried juggling before?
You know, I have, but I have a hard time handling that many balls.
I don't get it.
I swear.
I said I was going to be the diva and not giggle that much.
Divas can giggle. I think he'll give you like a wink at that. And he'll say, these ones are easy enough to handle. And he'll pull out a second one and place it into your hand, kind of clasping your hand while he gives it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then just go, can I see you try with 2 at first? And we can add some more.
I think I could probably do that.
Yeah. And he'll let go of your hand as will kind of take a half step back to allow some space for you to try to juggle. So, like, does the bride, not the bride, the showgirl actually sort of know how to juggle?
I think she does.
I think we're super good jugglers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you toss the two balls with quite some ease. Child's play, after all. And he'll kind of smile, and he'll just take a third ball and just expertly toss it with what's already circulating, as if to just add it in, and it's easy enough to add that one in now. And he'll give you again that kind of charming smile and put in that fourth one and the fifth one. And it's starting to get a little bit tricky now. You've never really gone over more than like 4 or 5, and now you actually have to like concentrate on what's going on. And as you watch with your eyes, the different balls up both in the air and your hands cycling back and forth through them, another object joins the fray, and you notice it because it glints for a second in the light. And and as you follow it, you see a knife. And you instinctively pull your hand away to avoid this incoming blade, and you watch as the knife and these balls all clatter to the ground. And the juggler will frown and sorry, he'll frown a bit and start to pick up this stuff again. You were doing so well.
Leave. Come on, this is nope. Sharp and Pointy's got entered in here.
Ask him why he did that.
Say, hey, mister, what do you think's going on here? That part of your act?
I mean, what would be a juggling act if it wasn't for a little bit of thrill? You'd understand that, wouldn't you?
I don't like him anymore.
I never did.
You don't like anyone.
Fair.
Maybe he was just impressed with our skills, you guys. Maybe it wasn't even a real knife. I'm gonna examine the knife.
No.
Okay. You can investigate a mysterious object.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna investigate the knife.
Okay. You may ask me 2 of the questions.
Yes. I would like to ask, what memories does this item hold? Thank you. That's perfect.
I hold. So as he's trying to pick up the stuff off the ground, he's going for the balls first. You lean down and take the knife before he does. And as you lift it up again, you reflect it off. The light reflects off of the blade. It's very clean. You note that it had like maybe a bit of a dirt smudge as it had hit the ground. Otherwise, it seemed to be very well taken care of. And as you kind of look back at it back and forth a bit, you can see it's polished enough that you can see a sliver of your own reflection back into it. Perhaps just like the strip of where your eye and a bit of your nose gets into it. And as you flip it side to side to look at it, your reflection, and then for a moment you think you see someone else's reflection. But a woman. So for a second, it doesn't quite register. A woman with long dark hair like yours, and bright eyes like yours as well. But you see that although her face seems to be quite impeccable, right before you flip it back to check, you see almost as if from very, very fine cut, there is blood starting to come down the snippet of her face that you see. And you flip it back over and you see your own face again.
I think.
You can ask another question.
What's another question? I suppose you may have already answered it, but what about this item is odd or uncanny?
The reflection's quite odd or uncanny. But as you hold it more, and you feel that kind of heft and weight to it, you hear a voice, not the man's, but a woman's kind of echo, almost as if she was whispering right into your ear. And it's a repeated chant almost of, can't let anything drop, can't let anything drop, can't let anything drop. No one should know that you can't do everything at once. You have to do everything at once. You have to take care of your sister. You have to do your show. You have to do this perfectly. You can't drop anything. Can't let anything drop. Can't let anything drop. Over and over again.
I think that would probably would it? She's going to look at the juggler's reaction to this, see if he hears this.
He still has that charming smile.
Deanna, can I take stock?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
What traps have been laid for the showgirl?
As the juggler starts to offer the balls back to you, the light sort of shines through them a little bit more. And it even kind of goes through the balls a little bit, as it's a bit of a transparency. And you see within it, each of these, there appears to be objects inside. Sharp objects. And the juggler hands two of the balls back to you, the showgirl, and says, come on, I think you can do another one. Give it a go.
Let them down. Those aren't normal balls.
It could be fun, though. Impressive. It doesn't have to be. It can just be a thing that's there. It doesn't have to hurt us necessarily.
We could best him.
No, we are going to hurt ourselves. This is all going to hurt us.
We shouldn't get hurt. We have to perform tomorrow.
Who cares if we get hurt? We have to perform tomorrow.
Well, we want to look our best.
Can't look our best if our hands are bleeding.
I'll put them down and say to the juggler, I'd love to practice another time. But right now, I think I have to go practice. I need to drink some tea and do some stretches.
The smile on the juggler's face falters as you say those words. and the smile still stays, but it's no longer reaching his eyes. Come now, we've been having so much fun. I'm sure you can put off practice for a bit. Aren't you the new girl?
Yes, that's me. I have a lot to practice, and I need to go and do something else. But if you would like to have some more practice some other time without me knives, be happy to. And I'm gonna try to walk straight for the exit.
He's going to grab your hand and just go, come now, I'm sure if you show our dear ringleader that you have more than whatever skills you used to win him over, so we'll impress him quite a bit when he comes back.
Talk to my sisters. Can't say no to something new.
Put him off. Delay.
Just walk away from this. It's fine. We are better than him. We know this. We don't need to prove it. We are more skilled, more talented than his left pinky. Come on.
That's true. He is a bit of one-trick pony. Throws things, falls in the air. I'm going to attempt to whack my hand away.
Okay. This sounds like if you're trying to hit him away.
I'm not trying to hit him yet. I do still have the knife in my other hand.
You do still have the knife. That is a good point.
Yes. It is one I have not forgotten. I'm going to just try to if he's got my hand, I'm just going to try to get out of it and see if he'll let me do that.
His grip is much stronger than you expect it to. And as you try to do that, he kind of almost twists himself a bit so that he is behind you. And he places the other hand on yours as if the way that one would guide someone through motions or actions.
He's got his other hand on my hand with the knife.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And she just goes, really, the more skills you have, the better you'll be. You know what happened to the last showgirls? Which disappointed the good old boss here. Not able to keep up with the changing needs of the audience.
I think I am going to try to... I'm going to dirty myself with violence at this point, and I'm going to attempt to thrash myself, and I want to try to bring my arms in and throw them over me.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Dirty yourself with violence. Let's see how this goes.
Dirty myself with violence. So I do a roll plus carnality.
Yeah, so you can just type in the /R2d6 plus whatever your carnality is. Or there's also
you have an advantage.
You do have an advantage. Actually, you have 2. Thank you to
Yes, really.
11.
11.
Damn. Yeah. All right. I don't think you need this advantage. Jeez.
Rolling high is good in this game, right?
Oh, yeah, it's very good in this game.
Yeah.
When you dirty yourself with violence, on a hit, you inflict trauma as established, and choose one. You can disable them, silence them, or mutilate them.
I'm just going to disable him at this point, because I want to just throw him and try to get out of there as quickly as I can.
All right. So you take feeling his body up close behind you and his hands on both of your hands. He is not expecting you to suddenly just twist and throw him off of you. And he will roll onto the ground stunned. Are you trying to leave?
Yes, I would like to, if I can, propose a truth.
Certainly, you can propose a truth.
The truth I'm going to propose is that Bluebeard did such a good job of picking me as a showgirl that the juggler is incredibly jealous and threatened for his own job, and also wishes that he had me for himself. And I'm gonna did I answer the question well enough?
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
is this a token of faithfulness, I would assume?
It's a total token of faithfulness.
I mean,
and
if anything, it's our fault.
Which is
It's
just
not.
screaming in the background.
That's ridiculous. It is not our fault. You should understand that we have lots more things to do to get ready, because we are the star of the show. You should know. We can't complicate our time like that. Or threaten our hands with sharp objects. So, I'm going to take the knife. Because I have it.
Okay.
Be a
So
reminder
take
to us.
that token of faithfulness.
Yes. Yes. That we can keep everything going. For Bluebeard and for ourselves.
A good showgirl is able to juggle all her responsibilities after all. And as you exit out of the tent, you are back in the fairgrounds. And where do you go next? And do you keep the signet ring or do you pass it on, Diva?
I want to pass it on to the witch, because even though we have our differences, her instincts were correct last time.
Right on stranger danger, wrong on apparently everything else, but sure.
All right. Witch, you now have the signet ring.
Mm-hmm.
What does the ticket look like for the next tent?
The one that I pull out is, it's strange because it looks older than a lot of the other ones. It seems like it's a worn out parchment color, almost like it's been stained with tea a few times over. But embossed into it is the words Admit 1, that kind of in the right light almost shimmers with a bit of gold to it.
Okay. Of gold to it. All right. This will be interesting. As the tent beckons to you, you submit your ticket, you enter, and the flap closes behind you. You are within what appears to be some form of front house. You are, as you look around, you see that you stand on the threshold of a room filled with all sorts of different mirrors, all of them that's kind of tinted gold color, that is the same embossed on the ticket. And although the mirrors are bright and shiny, especially against the lights that glimmer in here, the actual walls are quite in disrepair. You can see the paint cracking and the caulking kind of falling apart as you step through. You definitely see as you look into the mirrors different disproportionate sizings and warping your image into all sorts of comedically grotesque ways. Um, and you see in the center of this mirror room, there appears to be a chair made of that same gold metal, perhaps. Perhaps it's just gilded. Um, and you see next to it are these costumes hung up onto a rack, all of these different colors and shapes and sizes.
Going to go over towards the costumes and start to investigate.
Okay. You can investigate a mysterious object.
What memories do the costumes hold?
As you examine the costumes, again, they're all these different colors and shapes and sizes, all bright. Sorry. um, all in kind of not quite silks, but satins, and some are more polyesters and different stripes and spots and colors. You let's see. These are all fairly well worn. They've been washed and cleaned for sure, but you can see bits and pieces of holes, or not quite holes, but mended holes, some runs of where perhaps seams were pulled just a little too much. And yeah, it's definitely this kind of very well worn costuming. Most of them meant for a woman, you think, considering a lot of them are dresses and skirts, very similar to your own outfit. Although, well, what your outfit was before you left some of it behind.
We should put something on.
I'm not in total disagreement on that one. May not be a bad idea.
Something pink.
Something red.
Pink.
Red.
Pink has red in it.
Red is the original pink. It's stronger than pink.
Maybe something a little darker. We can blend in a little bit more.
Purple.
How would we blend in?
Purple does sound quite nice.
Lilac.
What is with you and the lighter colors?
They catch the light.
Let our skin catch the light. Our clothes don't need to do that.
Are you suggesting we go around naked?
Well, not today. But
Oh my goodness. Alright, so continuing to investigate the costumes while simultaneously looking for maybe like something in purple.
Okay. You may ask me another question.
Did that answer like what memories does this item hold? Because that was the first.
Yeah, its memories
it was
holds a lot of people wearing it at some
Okay.
point. Well taken care of, although well worn.
What about them is odd or uncanny?
Um, as you look through them and you kind of brush your hand through these clothing, trying to search for a purple dress of some form.
And feeling all the fabrics. That's
Yeah,
more of a Natalie thing, really, but that's
Oh no, yeah. And some again, as you kind of trail your fingers through and go through, become a little scratchier, the cotton and linens and polyesters, and some are definitely more silken, these kind of fake satin and silk, dyed in all these colors. As you continue brushing through, you feel something that doesn't feels very soft, but doesn't quite feel like fabric. And as you kind of your finger brush against this, you pull the dresses apart that seem to be burying this. Um, and you see um, what appears to be a body, a human, but limp, empty almost, as if bones and flesh had been removed from within it. And it's just the skin that hangs off of this hanger of what looked like to be a woman with dark brown hair, uh, with little gems inside of it. And as you kind of shift it, you definitely see her face. Really, it just looks so weirdly like you. Isn't that odd?
Oh, so odd. Yeah. Oh god.
Is that a shiver from fear I see from you?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Oh god.
Okay, with a shiver from fear, tell me what you're most afraid of will happen, and I will tell you how it's actually worse.
What I become most afraid that this will happen, because this is of course where the witch brain would think, is almost like a mind swap where somehow whatever was that suit of skin, whatever consciousness exists in there, which I'm going to assume is not much of one, switches with our current body, takes us over and does whatever with it, leaving us stuck in this suit that has no bones, has nothing that can move, and we're just stuck hanging for eternity on a clothing rack. Please don't tell me how that's going to be worse. Because I just scared myself with that one.
How is it worse? Oh no, honey, they're not gonna just mind swap here. You see, as you look at the skin suit, man, those nails look really long and sharp. They look caked in something dark. They're not just going to swap minds with you. They're going to swap skins with you. And they're going to have to take, even if it means it's going to have to take your skin off first.
Oh. No.
All right, and you get to choose whether you keep the signet and choose the option, or pass the signet and choose one, which would be in effect the showgirl with its perversion. It has the showgirl in its clutches right now, which speaks to you. So you take one trauma, and just you. So you can
Okay.
you can keep the signet and choose two of those options, or you can pass it on to somebody else and just choose one.
I'm gonna keep the signet.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, so then I choose two. So I'm gonna go with it probably has the showgirl in its clutches. It's probably
Yeah.
grabbed onto our body with those dangerous nails.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna go with it speaks to you.
Okay, you get to mark off one
Yeah,
trauma.
I was waiting. I'm taking on trauma. I know this is happening.
Wonderful. So as you finally realize what this skin suit, um, the nails of the hand snaps up and grabs onto you. Those dark, long nails digging into your skin, and you can feel it starting to draw blood, um,
Mhm.
as you take that trauma. And even though it doesn't seem to have much bone or structure within it, you feel it as if it's slithering to try to get up close to you.
Yeah, I'm going to probably try. I'm going to be very cautious with this because I am both thinking this is kind of my body, but also not mine. And try to kind of softly touch the body and just do not harm this if you want it. You are making this unusable and you should focus your attention elsewhere. I'm trying to caress a horror.
Okay, yes. You may caress a horror. You do have advantages.
I do.
Thanks to our lovely audience. So you roll plus your blood.
Yeah, which is +1.
Okay.
Thank goodness. That's why I went this route. That's a 9. But let's see if I get a better success. Because I had to use my advantage, so. Okay, going with the 9.
Okay.
Which is fine. It's still
on a hit, which it is, the horror is swayed by your stroke and will direct what it was intended for you to another victim in the carnival. However, on a 7 to 9, it will shift its attention, but only if you participate in some way.
Okay. Tell me, skin suit, what do you want? Oh, words I never thought I'd say.
I know. Okay. As you're starting to caress this horror and start to almost try to soothe it, the tent flap opens and a girl walks in. Pretty. She looks quite young. And she doesn't seem to notice what's going on right now. I think she's too deep into a book or something like that. She's wearing a uniform that says that she's an employee, but not a show person, probably a ticket vendor or something like that. But something about this girl weirdly uncannily reminds you of your younger sister back at home.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Ooh, okay. Right.
But you know that you can sort of see this structureless head, again, a face without a jaw and without a chin to support it. And it just starts to kind of not quite turn, but twist the only way that it can, as if, the way that fabric would to twist around. And you can see those eyes kind of start, or where the eyes would be, those empty sockets, almost as if they focus in on this new girl that's come in.
Right. Okay. Sisters, don't hate me. I'm going to. Am I still being held on by the skin?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. I
would like to remind you also still have a knife.
Oh yeah, there's totally still a knife. That's exciting. My brain is now going through the calculations of how fast can a knife cut through skin, and that is another sentence I never thought I'd have to say.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a pretty sharp knife.
Also, thank you, my dear audience, for that donation to get those horrors worse.
Because Skin Suit trying to scoop you out was already not bad enough.
With the structuralist head.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I mean, I can cut off this arm that's got us, or there's the girl that's conveniently walked in.
What about her?
This thing clearly wants something. I'm not prepared to give it us.
Okay.
We have never agreed on something so fast before, but I am glad.
What is wrong with you two? That is a nice girl. She came to see us.
I don't think she
No,
can.
she didn't. She's an employee, but she could be nice. How many nice employees are there here? We need some friends.
I don't think there's any nice employees here. We know the last one wanted to hurt us.
Yeah, he was just jealous.
Well, maybe if we had been nicer.
Oh, I don't think so. You are so naive. I don't think anyone here is going to be doing us any favors.
What makes you think the skin suit will be done if you give it her?
I'm going to leave, so that way it cannot get to us. We just need to
You
never come back.
You feel the nails dig
Of
in
course I do.
ever deeper.
I'm
Now,
gonna cut out of
here's a fun thing. So Witch is definitely going to take the trauma, but then Witch can decide if all the other sisters take trauma too.
Oh. Oh. No, I think I'm taking this one for the team, as I'm going to actually slash at the skin suit with the knife in my hand.
Okay. So that's definitely dirty yourself with violence.
Cool.
Also, thank you for that additional Make the Horrors Worse donation, chat.
There's still an extra advantage somewhere in this, right?
You do have an advantage still.
Because carnality I left at the 0.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not ever want to make resilience rolls. So,
A 7.
a 7. Do I want to use my other advantage? Yeah, I'm using the other advantage I've got.
Okay.
I don't know when it's gonna happen. Nope, apparently that 7 was fine.
I like that 7.
Yeah, that'd probably be the wiser one.
That sounds great.
On a hit, you inflict trauma as established and choose one. You can disable them, silence them, or mutilate them.
I'm going to disable them.
Okay, but on a 7 to 9, you also do have to choose one of the following. Your vulnerability opens you up to trauma, or your carelessness leaves you in a bad spot.
I'm gonna go with carelessness leaves me in a bad spot. I'm going with probably this girl got too close during maybe this whole thing. And so it's not even just I can cut and run, literally. It is, there might be something else I have to deal with now.
Yeah, so you take the knife and you slash at the skin suit.
Mm-hmm.
And it lets out a breathless, almost the way that when a balloon is losing the air, that kind of wheeze as you slash through, and it cuts through like butter into the skin.
Thanks.
And as you feel that hand still grabbing onto you, but it's now starting to leave you as it has no body to hold on. You spin around and your back is now up against the mirror.
Mm.
And as you're up against the mirror, you actually feel it as if melts behind you, and you stagger through it.
Of course I do. Of course. Okay.
And you look around, and you are in what can I only describe as a very small golden room, the same kind of gold as the mirror was made out of. The walls are not straight, they're warped the same way that the mirror warped your image when you were looking through it. And you I know. you watch for a moment as you were just see yourself reflected all around you, this kind of warped version of yourself, where different features are exaggerated and others are shrunk in into this very unflattering image of you. Um, and walls start to melt away, and you are suddenly within the middle of a stage. There is audience all around you. You can't see their faces, but you can hear them. You can hear the murmurs as you are suddenly in the spotlight, very undressed. And as you look, you do see um, what you thought was just your image, perhaps for a moment, as if your body is starting to warp to that same way that you saw. And as you hear the murmuring voices, they start to pick up as you are now within the spotlight, as they start to jeer at you. Um, and you see a man on a pedestal, I guess you could say, a stand, who uh, looks kind of like Bluebeard. But you stand here, and you can feel the eyes of judgment from all around you. There is no escape. There's nothing to hide behind in your semi-nakedness and in your shame.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Isn't this a nightmare, darlings? Okay.
The virgin starts to cry.
It's fair. Right. So if I turn around, do I see kind of the mirror that I come through at all?
You do see that mirror, again reflecting that kind of warped image of yourself, although perhaps not so warped in the fact that it seems that as you look down, perhaps maybe you are starting to turn into that image.
Yeah. In interest of self-preservation, can I touch that mirror and see if I can go back to what I'm going to go with as the real world?
As you touch it, it is just cold metal under your fingertips.
Any bright ideas, sisters?
We need to hide.
Oh, I don't think we are able to.
I think you're going to need to face the crowd. That's the reason we're here, isn't it?
Maybe someone will help us.
There is going to help us. This, oh goodness. Can I take stock, actually, of the situation?
Sure, you certainly can.
What does this place demand of the showgirl? Why was that a dreamy sigh?
You gotta get used to it. I giggle a lot in this game. Apparently, it's very alarming.
Just a little.
You watch as the man that sort of looked like Bluebeard. You can't quite see his face, but his hair seems to have that same tinge of blue that you have associated with this man. And he seems to point in the center of the room, and a table suddenly appears. A long surgical table. It's steel. And there is next to it a small table filled with surgical implements of all forms. Showgirl, you are not perfect right now. Far from it, really.
Rude.
And if you're going to put on a show, you better look beautiful, don't you think?
Brood.
I think that's where we're going to take a little break, as the room demands that you make yourself presentable, whatever way and however, whatever cost it will have. 5-minute break. Please make sure, everyone, to take the time to stand up, get some water, stretch, whatever else you need, go to the bathroom, and we'll be back in 5 minutes to return to our lovely horrors here in Bluebeard's Bride Dark Carnival. And welcome back, dear audience. We are returning to a Showgirl being a little bit of a pickle, I suppose you could say. Being mostly unclothed, drowned like a rat, scratches now down her arm from a very insistent skin suit. And now stuck in the middle of a very attentive audience where there is a demand for the showgirl to perfect herself using what can only be described as a surgical table and implements that are now in the center of this room.
And that mirror behind me leads nowhere. Excellent.
Maybe we could use a few adjustments.
No, we are fine the way we are. Oh goodness. And being the witch and being the medium, she's going to actually use that knife to kind of prick her finger a bit and let some blood spill. I get to mark one trauma on myself because I'm just team take the trauma. And the groundskeeper will share whispers about what happened here. And yeah, you might ask questions. We'll see how that goes. But I mostly want to know, what is this? Why is this?
Why is this? So do mark that trauma.
Oh yeah, I'm at the 3. We're doing great. I'm very traumatized.
Yeah. What's your trauma track at, by the way, witch? 3 out of 5.
Oh yeah, no, we're traumatized right now. We're doing great.
Ah, lovely, lovely, lovely.
We are getting very close to 5 there.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen at 5.
Never played this, I have no idea.
In terms of the medium, spilling your blood to commune with the horrors of the tent, what happened here? As you spill your blood and it drops onto the dirt below you, she almost soaked in immediately. There are flashes in your mind. You see that surgical table, but now much closer, as if you were suddenly close to it and being pushed onto it. You can feel hands starting to push you down. But this isn't you. You look at your hands and your skin's not that color. Your skin's much paler. This is someone with a more dusky tone. And starts to push you down, and you see a handsome man with a finely groomed mustache, fuller than the juggler's. He wears a top hat with a blue ribbon across it, and he smiles at you as, well, maybe not you, whoever's memories you're now starting to see, as he just kind of smiles and you feel something lock around your wrist. And I get to ask you a couple questions to help clarify what's going on. So let's see. Why did Bluebeard keep this item, this surgical table and surgical implements?
The Natalie answer is immediately, this is secretly Repo the Genetic Opera. Which actually probably goes into, it's about perfection, and the reason why he keeps it is clearly the reason why it's been instilled in everybody in this show so far, is the idea of perfection. And yes, sometimes that means genetically modifying the body to become more beautiful, to become more of a horror for the masses to be entertained by. And so it's kind of a multi-purpose let's fix the axe if they need fixing. That's what it's for.
Yeah, and you see this man look down at you. You somehow know his name, but you don't. You've never met this man before, but this memories of this person does. Of perhaps you think a hawthorn or something like that. But as she locks you, this woman, whoever it is, in, he smiles down with teeth that are just a little too sharp. And he just says, what does he say? You'll be glad that you did this. Bluebeard only expects the best, of course. And suddenly you are back out, back into your own body, but you can feel that's almost the ghost of that metal on your wrist where there's that shackle. What do you do?
Okay. Cool. Right. Is there, okay, so then not giving sisters any thoughts, suggestions, ideas? I'm open to your words for once. Unless
Maybe-
those words are get your body fixed, in which case no.
Maybe someone will help us. We can't see everyone. We don't know that they all want us to do this.
I think we should try to listen to our audience, and if you really don't want to do it, then try to convince them.
Right. Okay. Then we're gonna let's give them a show, shall we, sisters? And we're going to Showgirl try to command the attention of everyone on the stage, of everyone in like watching the stage.
How do you do so?
Stamp the ground to kind of get their attention and just loudly call out, "Audience, welcome! I see you've come for a performance, and we are not one to disappoint. However, there is something we need from you. We need you to allow us to be free of this space, to be free of the surgery. There is no need for this. Our body is already morphing as it needs to, apparently. And we can perform aptly from our own stage, with our own tools, with our own devices. She is going to just start spewing whatever she can in an attempt to caress this horror.
Okay.
We're trying that.
Yeah, let's give that a go, shall we?
You know, it worked moderately okay the last time.
Mm-hmm. You don't have any more advantages.
I don't! Which means this could go terribly. Yeah. As it's about to. Cool.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yep.
That seemed to be a miss, doesn't it?
Oh, it's totally a miss. I told you I'm going for team trauma here.
As you lift up your hands and attempt to command the stage presence that you have, it's what you used for this audition with Bluebeard. It's what won him over after all.
Mm-hmm.
But the audience falls silent as you speak. And then the jeers pick up once more with more fervor. You hear now, where before it was just an overall murmur of discontent, you now hear specific insults spoken at you. Um, you hear people shouting at you, how dare she? How dare she demand anything from the audience? We paid to be here. And you hear others go, "Oh, she's not even that pretty anyway. Look at her. Skin so sallow. Didn't you think that her breast could be bigger?" You hear more and more pointed comments about you. And you see as some of these audience members start to leave their seats, not to head towards an exit, but to head down towards you. And as they step into the light, they do not form faces or features. They are that same dark, featureless figure that you would see in the shadows as they, again, their fervor of rage and insult get closer to you and closer to you, starting to herd you towards that surgical table.
Wait, so they're trying to, okay, push me towards. Do I take trauma, by the way, for failing that roll? I'm just curious.
Not quite yet.
All right. As I'm being herded towards this table, can I look around? Is there any sort of door, exit, escape?
You look as you glance around and you see what looks like to be perhaps the opening of this tent, but it's far above you. You would have to walk through the stands, through this wave of angered audience to it.
Cool. Going for it.
Okay, you're gonna go for it. This feels like an escape.
Yep, we'll go with escape here.
Okay. When you
I wanted to figure out a token thing, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get anything to pull out of here.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're being herded right to the surgical table.
If I can, then actually, I would propose a truth about what's happened in this.
Okay.
As I try to make my way to the door, I'll go by the surgical table while I'm at it, just try to take probably a scalpel that I find. Now we're just knives galore at this point.
So what is the truth about this tent, witch?
So what starts as a simple change room, costume tent, where people can try things on, where they've got the mirrors behind everything. The mirrors just amplify the imperfections, because Bluebeard, as this ringleader, has it in his head that no one is ever perfect enough. No one is good enough, which is why they've said they go through so many showgirls. That's why there's showgirls that look so much like us, that have been through here and have been marked and mauled and torn apart for the sake of the show. And this is terrible.
This sounds like a token of disloyalty.
Completely.
You pick up the scalpel, and as you turn to face this rabid audience to try to fight your way to the top, suddenly you're alone again. The way out open to you. But even though there is nobody here except for yourself, you know who's at fault.
Mm-hmm.
And you can exit out of the tent.
Yep. Out. Very much out. Taking off that signet ring completely.
All right, who are you passing it on to?
I'm going to hope that you have better luck than me. And she's going to hand it to the Virgin.
She greedily snatches it.
So the fun thing about this that we haven't had to bring up until now is that if you pass the signet ring voluntarily, you're immune to trauma until that ring is passed again.
I got 1 round, which is fine. I'm at 4 trauma, so.
4 out of 5. All right,
Yeah.
Virgin.
I'm safe for, a round.
Virgin, you are standing outside the tent in the fairgrounds. You can hear the echo of people chatting and laughing off in the distance. But what ticket calls to you?
The Virgin is angry at her sister, and she has a bitter taste in her mouth. So as she's flipping through the tickets, her eyes catch one where the admit one is made of red licorice whips, and there are lollipops outlining the ticket. And it almost has a candy smell to it. Time for something sweet.
Indeed. I think I know. All right. The tent beckons for you. You enter. The flap closes behind you. You are within a, I suppose what you'd call right by a food stall. A small, fairly small stand of wood that's been painted that kind of sickly pink color of cotton candy. You can smell, even as you're not right up against it, that smell of sugar. That it's quite the difference than the acrid sourness of the Tunnel of Love that you had seen. The and you can almost feel as if that cloying sugar smell almost seems to seep into your clothes and to your skin. As you look in front of you, and there are all sorts of candies to behold here. There are lollipops and cotton candy. There's licorice, and there's also bubble gum. There is jawbreakers and candied apples. All of them in tantalizing display for you. Um, and there is a woman who is standing there dressed in the employee's uniform, although she has a pink and purple apron on, with the embroidered and all of these lovely little candy motifs and the such.
Hello.
And she smiles at you. It's like, "Oh, hello. Good evening. How are you doing?"
All right, I've had kind of a tough first day.
"Oh, sweetheart, it certainly looks like you had a tough day." And she's kind of still, she's not right at the counter, still within. She seems to be fiddling around with some confection that she seems to be making. Says, "Come, you can certainly sit down and take a load off here for a little while if you'd like to."
She's totally gonna, and she kind of
No.
makes a face at her sisters like, "Ha, I told you someone was nice."
No, this is, still echoes of stranger danger, just consistently echoing in the witch's voice.
Don't eat anything.
The Virgin's eyes are literally flicking to candy apples right now.
No, don't eat it. Don't. We're not that hungry. It's
We
fine.
can just have one.
No.
It's not that bad to just have one.
Unless it poisons you and then you die.
You want a bunch of people watching you eat a candy apple?
Also, we just had our
Maybe.
entire body judged. Do you really feel like eating right now?
She's gonna pout and just sit in the stool.
Yeah, there's like 3 different stools right at the counter, kind of, that you can sit at. And she seems to be, as you look over, she seems to be shaping, what's it? There's, do you know those like glass candies? Like, so she seems to be shaping a glass candy, which is why she hasn't moved over towards you. And she'll look over and be like, "Oh, come now, you shouldn't have such a glum face while you're here. What's the matter?"
Just feeling a little down.
Oh dear. I know that sometimes new jobs are quite rough. Is there anything that I could do to help you?
See. I am a little hungry, but just a little.
No, we're not.
Ravenous.
Well, if you're a little hungry, you've come just to the right place, of course. And she'll have like, "Don't tell anyone else, but I think that my stand is the best out of everyone else's."
I like it the best so far.
And she'll give you a very sweet, large smile as you say that. Says, "Well, do you have any particular things that you are interested in trying out? I have all sorts of handmade confections here."
What are you making over there?
She'll look up. She'll kind of look down back at the candy glass. And "Oh, well, these are my specialty. I make these candy glass figurines. They look like, little glass figures, but really they're made out of melted sugar."
Could I try one?
Of course. And she'll, I think what she'll do is she'll pull out she'll open up a cabinet and almost like swivel it towards you, as you notice that it's kind of on a hinge. And you see within it, on the little snippets, there are all sorts of lovely little figures. You see, I suppose, like little woodland animals. You see some flowers, some wildflowers and roses and all that stuff. And you also see some human like shaped forms. You see one that is a man and a woman dancing. You see another who seems to be a woman in like a ballerina pose. Another is of a man who seems to be kind of looks like Bluebeard. Was it shaped in this form?
I want that one.
No. Stop it. Stop it.
I want to pick it up and examine it closely.
You should eat Bluebeard.
No. Freezing. Also no.
All right. You do you select that one?
Yes.
Yep. She'll carefully, in gloved hands, pluck it out and set it on this little like pink plate, and set it on the counter in front of you. And she'll give you a little smile, and I think what she'll give you a smile and a little like pat on the cheek. And are you going to examine a mysterious?
Yes. I'm going to look at it
investigate a mysterious object?
Please look at it. Please actually inspect this.
Yes.
But I will.
All right. Tell me. Well, ask me 2 questions then.
What about this item is odd or uncanny?
Oh boy, what is odd or uncanny about this?
Nothing. Perfectly safe.
No.
I should have just eaten
I mean, you could have.
No.
So you look more closely at this little glass candy figurine. And yes, it certainly looks like a ringleader. He seems to be in a commanding pose with the signature hat and whip in hand. And as you kind of lift up the plate a bit to examine it closer, as it catches the light, you definitely notice that it's not clear white colored. Rather, it's kind of pink in tone. And it's almost as if there's you can see like swirls within it of a deeper red. Um, and as you hold it up closer, you feel this, and you kind of like use your fingers to kind of tilt it a little bit. Feel the sugar starting to kind of melt against your hands. But as it does, you lift up your fingers and there's not the color that you'd expect. Is this kind of dark red to it.
She licks her finger.
Okay. You lick it and there is this very sweet sugar taste to it. But then it's followed out by this coppery tinge to it.
Do you regret it yet?
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Mm-mm.
It tastes really like blood.
I think I bit the inside of my lip. What memories does this item hold?
As you kind of taste that blood,
Not blood.
or whatever it is, I think you kind of turn around to look at the confectioner. And you see her as she's starting to form this new, look like to be another humanoid figurine. And you see her, yeah, fuck it, I'm going hard. This is the last hour of it. You see her as she seems to lift up something. You're expecting, her to lift up like a bag or a bottle or something to add as she seems to be ready to pour. What she lifts up is a hand, an arm that has had it all across the wrist, like a cut all the way down, and you see that blood kind of oozing. She doesn't seem to notice that you've noticed as she goes and she almost squeezes it to let some of the blood drip into her candy confection. As this happens, you feel something pulse inside you. The warmth of the liquid sugar that you had just licked off, you can feel it now traveling down your throat and into your stomach. And it seems to almost like it does two things. You can feel it start to expand almost within you, out of it filling you with this entire warmth. At the same time, you're starting to relax. You can't help yourself but feel like you're relaxing. And that looks like a shiver from fear.
What are you talking about?
Shiver from fear. Lovely. Tell me, what do you fear most of what will happen next?
She's gonna do the same thing to me. She's gonna put my blood in the sugar. I don't want it.
How is it actually worse? You feel this sugar with its blood in it coursing through you, forcing you to relax. And um, your limbs are starting to sort of feel numb. You realizing that she might not kill you before she does this to you. You might still be alive and very aware of her turning you into sugar sweet candy. Would you like to keep the signet ring and choose 2, or pass it on and choose 1?
I'm gonna keep it for now.
Okay.
I'll take trauma and infect with perversion.
Okay. As you feel this and that kind of pulse, you definitely, it almost feels as if it's getting inside of you, and you take that trauma and it starts to almost choke you, the way that you have when you have something stuck in your throat, as if this little bit of sugar is now solidifying inside of you. And yet you can taste the aftertaste of that copper of blood. That sweetness is still at the forefront, and it's still the best candy you have ever tasted, and you want more. And the confectioner will turn around with her new confection in hand. You're like, and she'll just go, "Oh, it seems that you've already enjoyed this one. I've made this one just for you." And she sets it down in front of you, and it's this little figurine of a woman, half dressed, long ringlet hair.
She starts to intensify, like trying to clear her throat. But it's more like she's just trying to make the loudest noise possible. She's trying to cry for help.
Okay, cry out for help.
Okay. Is that resilience?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I have an advantage. I have not
You
used.
have an advantage.
Yeah. Oh, yes! Yes! I'm so good at crying.
Well done. Way to cry.
Way to cry. Okay. As you manage to force your voice through this ball of sugar that is now crystallizing within your throat, you call out for help. And on a hit, someone comes to address your concerns and calm your hysteria. Who arrives? Oh, well, someone donated a cameo earlier. As she seems to lean in closer to you, this woman with this figurine in hand. You feel a hand on your shoulder, and you see another hand reach out to kind of stop this woman from approaching further. And see this man, um, that just says, "I think she's had enough." And you look, in which this is the same man that you saw in your weird medium vision. Same finely groomed mustache, the top hat with the blue ribbon across it, the fine suit. And he'll kind of start to lift you up, lift the showgirl up as you kind of, with what strength you have that's not numb, to kind of just hold on to him. And the confectioner will kind of, "Oh, of course, anytime you like to come back, dear, I'll certainly have a specially made confection for you." And she'll smile and wave a little bit.
I'm holding on to this man for dear life.
Yeah. And this man will take you and not leave you to exit, but will just like off to the side. Just be like, "Are you all right?"
Yes, now I think I had a reaction to the candy.
Allergies are quite nasty things, aren't they?
Shouldn't
And
be having sugar anyway.
yeah. Are you sure you're feeling all right now? And he'll kind of look and he'll kind of take a hand to like tilt your head a little bit as to examine your countenance and your how pale you look, or if you seem to be having rashes or anything.
I'm feeling better. She keeps like darting her eyes away from him.
And he'll incline his head. That's very good to hear. He looks, it's a shame that you can't eat any sugar. This is one of our ringleader's favorite stands.
Well, maybe it was just that particular sweet. Maybe I can try one another time. Maybe another time.
He'll incline his head. Do you require any more assistance, or are you all right, young lady?
I'm all right. Do you work here?
I do. I am mostly behind the scenes, but kind of gestures to his parents. Still have to look my best, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother.
I'm not as good at this as the diva.
None of us are good at this.
He's cute.
He is cute.
He's probably evil, though.
Get him to touch our face again.
No.
Maybe. Are you sure there was nothing?
No.
Like here? No rashes. I don't feel any. Do you see any?
He's gonna lean down a bit to examine closer to your neck, and you definitely feel like his breath against your skin. As he kind of uses a hand to tilt up your chin a bit to look closer. And he just goes, "I don't see anything, but I wouldn't mind checking later again, if needs be."
Yes, allergies can be delayed.
Of course. Can't be too cautious. And are you gonna get him to stay around, or?
No, like he can go if he wants. It's like fine. We were kind of busy.
He will take your hand and not quite press a kiss to it, but make the gesture of doing so. And says, "I look forward to seeing what new talents and skills you bring to here, new girl."
Stop it, Virgin. Stop it. Stop it.
Bye.
Good.
And he will tip his hat and leave you be. What do you do?
Is there anything else besides that horrid witch in here? Not you. Her.
I was going to say.
Not you.
Now that you're standing kind of outside of the stand, You see something at your feet.
What?
You had been too distracted by this handsome man to note it at first when you stepped out here. But you see what looked like to be a trail of some form of dark liquid on the ground that seems to lead around this stand.
She just like instinctively starts following it.
Okay. Yeah, you start to follow it. And it's not quite red, but this kind of darkish red brown color. And as you start to follow it, it leads you around the side of this candy stand and towards the back of it. Whereupon you see, yeah, that's where I'm going. You see what that liquid is at first. You're realizing as you get further and further, it's going to be more red and red colored, fresher. As you look, as you peek your head around this shed, or shack rather, you notice human bodies, but they're not piled onto the ground like some sort of, not like they've been discarded here. Rather, they seem to be stood up, and they're supported by the fact that they're encased in what appears to be glass. But not glass. You smell that sugar sweet scent, but in candy glass. And they've been almost, the candy glass shell has been molded to them to pose them in different ways. And they're all kind of put into this diorama almost, a frozen scene of perhaps a dance floor or something like that. You see couples dancing, one spinning their partner around, another seems to be bowing and taking the hand of another. And you see one lone figure look like to be like a bigger version of that little Bluebeard figurine that you had. And although you know there's a body inside of it, you can't see quite through it to see who is in it.
You both feel the Virgin get really quiet, like when she gets angry, she just gets really quiet and furrows her eyebrows and scrunches her face.
The witch is very used to this look, yes.
She picks up a rock.
Okay.
She kind of tosses it in her hands.
Okay.
And then she throws it like she's trying to break them out. Just the nearest one.
I'm going to need you to dirty yourself with violence.
Oh no. What's that?
That's a dirty yourself with violence and a carnality.
Okay. I think I still have my advantage since I didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to definitely use it for carnality. It's not my forte. Ooh!
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Spicy roll.
Where were these rolls for me? God.
All right. On a hit, you inflict trauma as established and choose one. disable them, silence them, or mutilate them.
I think I want to mutilate, but it's like I'm mutilating the shell rather than what's in it is her intention.
Okay. Yeah, you pick up this rock and you just throw it. And you watch as it makes contact with the chest of this Bluebeard-esque figurine. And you see the crack start to form, not splintering, but rather like as if somebody had made a clean crack in this. And you see it, bits and pieces of candied glass start to break off and fall onto the ground. And as you see this, the rest of these figures also start to crumble, releasing their corpses onto the ground. And as you watch, this Bluebeard figure falls apart, and there's nothing inside of it.
I think I'm going to propose a truth.
Okay.
I think this woman is a witch, and I want my sister to pay special attention to what she could become.
It won't be like that, I promise. We're not like that. We don't hurt other people.
That's right. We're good. We're obedient.
No, okay, no. Good and obedient do not need to go in the same sentence, sister.
I agree with the witch there.
Do you think that this is Bluebeard's fault? This is clearly...
He lets this
clearly
happen.
The confectioner's fault.
No, he lets this happen. He lets these horrors happen.
Victim.
Honestly, this is the health department's fault.
I mean... Also, yes, I feel like this has not passed any food safety laws whatsoever.
Cross-contamination everywhere.
It
For
is
Bluebeard, everything, the fish rots from the head. This all starts with the ringleader, with the ringmaster.
Well, we could talk to him.
I'm sure he already knows, and I'm sure he's just gonna cut us up until we agree.
How do you know he knows?
How could he not? This is his world. This is his tent. This
place is huge.
And I'm sure he has his hands on every little bit of it. How could he not?
If he has that power, he still wants us, which means that power can be ours. It doesn't really matter that much. Look, we're fine. We so far had some candy. We got our dress wet. That's all.
We lost that dress, but sure. And we almost got cut up.
But
I mean, there are, and point to, like, look at the arm. Look at our arm.
Well, that was your fault.
That was a skin suit that came to life.
Well, it wasn't a skin suit of Bluebeard.
No, it was of us. That's actually, I think, the creepier part. Which means he's got other bodysuits of us. How many women who have looked like us have been through here?
Maybe some, but they're not as good as us.
No, they're not. And I want that power as much as anyone, believe me. But I don't think he's to be trusted.
Virgin, what token are you taking? And what truth are you proposing here?
I pick up some of the shattered candy glass that matches my splinter of wood. And I propose that this witch has infected the carnival maybe even bewitched Bluebeard and has set up shop. And she, if anyone, has been the cause of the evils here. And I take a token of faithfulness.
You take that token of faithfulness. You exit out of this tent. And it's time to move on to the end game because we have hit 3 faithful tokens. You travel these dark paths in search of a truth most divisive. Each tent provided you with all the evidence you desired to make that one fateful choice. Now you stand before the forbidden final tent, the tent of Bluebeard, the only tent that you were forbidden from entering. And you must decide, with the faithful outcome, do you enter his tent, or do you resist entering it? The choice is yours, sisters.
What should we do?
Go to food, health, and safety and report this before we go anything further. Which is her subtle way of saying don't go in.
What do you think?
I think we should go in, but we should explain that we have very good reasons for going.
Oh no, tiebreaker.
Some things he needs to know.
Let's go in. I'm very confident in him.
I'm not, but I wish I could set this place on fire while we're at it. Thank you.
The showgirl enters Bluebeard's tent. And now we're going to go around and answer these final questions. Anyone can pipe in with an answer here, or refrain. How does the showgirl transform her own image to reveal that she belongs?
She rubs her skin raw in the bath each night so it will be shiny and not so sallow. So it will reflect the spotlight even more.
Anyone else?
She adds more gems to her hair to catch more light, to make it more shiny and glimmery, adding almost more glitter and sparkles also to her outfit as well.
She puts on one of those like high-waisted corsets so that she gets everything. Because she remembers what the audience said.
What role does the showgirl make for herself among the other carnies?
I'm going to say, and this is the witch saying this one here, casual flirt, if not worse more than that.
Fan dancer.
I think she's the switch hitter. She can go on any act. If anybody needs anything, she knows what to do.
How does the showgirl punish future showgirls for transgressions against Bluebeard and the carnival?
I bring them candy.
Oh, but also into that hall of mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Take a stern talking to while you have to stare at yourself going in different directions.
And how does the showgirl disguise her true monstrous nature from the public?
I bat my eyes and put on a big, wide, empty grin.
Whatever magic and spell work she can work into her daily rituals to kind of make everything seem fine.
I grow my hair longer. It's already long. I grow it longer. Cover up any of the scrapes and bruises and protestations of the other showgirls.
And as we watch the showgirl prepare for yet another day in the Carnival of Dark Wonders, we see Bluebeard by her side as she lifts her hand and presses a kiss to the pulse on the wrist to welcome her into these dark, dark circus. And that, dear audience, is where we leave our tale of Bluebeard's Bride, Dark Carnival. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my lovely players. I just want to say that we raised over $200 today, which is incredible. Thank you, my lovely audience, for not only being so generous, but also for supporting the show and for making all sorts of cool things happen. I got to go really hard in that Hall of Mirrors. It was great. I loved it. But yes, all of these donations will be going to Yellow Hammer Fund, which is a way to support women in order to make sure that they're able to get the access to the healthcare they need, and able to make choices about their own bodies, because the horrors we saw in this game today unfortunately do exist in the real world in some way or another, and we want to make sure that we can alleviate that as much as possible. Let us go around to these wonderful people here that have joined me in this lovely tale and who have let me torture them in the most loving way that I can. And let's go over to Natalie.
Hi! That was so much fun. Oh my god, I want to play it again, but I also low-key want to run it because this is
It's
fun
very
for
good.
me. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, tell us where you can find you on the internet, and also your favorite part of the one shot.
Okay, so yeah, where you can find me is best places on Twitter at Chaotic Rogue. There you can find out about all of the streams I'm a part of, as well as about the Mage College, which is a group of creators doing D&D 5e content. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm involved with at this point. Too many streams. So just go check out Twitter. My favorite part. Oh my god, there is so many. I honestly, actually, genuinely enjoyed bouncing off of the Virgin a lot, and just like their disagreements with each other was really funny and fun for me. I also like the Hall of Mirrors because I was like, this will be a fun, simple room. The last two have been easy. Oh god, no, this got so much worse. And now I want to go watch Repo the Genetic Opera. So that's probably like my favorite little bits and pieces there.
Wonderful. It was super great having you on the channel. It's lots of fun.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and let's go to Emma. Emma, where we can find you? What was your favorite part? All that stuff.
Yes, I had so much fun. Thank you, audience, for your help in raising this money. It's great to be a part of that. I am Emma. I'm the communications director for WebDM. So if you talk to us on social media, you will be talking to me. Or if you want to see me as me, I am at Emma Wrote on Twitter. And there you can see everything that I do and the weird things I say about being tired a lot. That's a lot of what I talk about. And yes, my favorite part, skin suit. Skin suit. It's like, yeah, that's gonna be a skin suit on a hair. It's a fucking skin suit. Yeah, it's great. Awesome.
Skin suit.
You called it before it happened, and that's my favorite thing. Is you all like skin suit.
Yeah, well, it's just like you have to think when you run this game, Ken. It's like, what is the absolute number one worst? Skin suit. Yep. getting sued.
I'm honored that you think that I'm able to come up with the absolute worst things.
You
for each
absolutely
year.
can. I believe you can.
Thank you so much for being here. It's super great having you. And let's go over to Lauren. Hello, Lauren.
Hello. Did I do good virgin things?
Yeah, I think you did a really
Awesome.
good version.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. I am part of the team over at Tales from the Grim, where we play Star Trek on Mondays, and sometimes I run Urban Shadows, and we also have new D&D stuff coming up, so you should check it out. And also have the Salty Sweet Games with my best friend Kiana, and we're going to be streaming on Sunday. We're going to play some Monster Prom with friends, and maybe some more Elsinore before we go hang out with our good friend Tommy and Parrot Penguin. That's what we're doing this weekend. I'm done. Oh, my favorite part.
Favorite part.
My favorite part was way to cry. I'm so good at crying.
You're very good at
That's
crying.
my favorite. So I was really
Very
inspired.
good. Incredible. And yeah, I guess that just leaves me. Hi, I'm Kiana. I was your groundskeeper for tonight, your GM. You can find me over on Twitter at Kiana S. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I do a lot of things all around the internet when it comes to tabletop game stuff. This has been super awesome. If you enjoyed the game, definitely go check out Bluebeard Bride over on the Magpie Games website, because they have some really great stuff over there. And this was the Carnival of Dark Wonders is part of their supplement, the Book of Mirrors, which helps to place the original Bluebeard game into different scenarios, including Asylum, boarding school, and of course the carnival itself. There's some really awesome stuff in there, so go and support them and the creators. Yeah, again, we were raising money for Yellowhammer Fund. Thank you very much for everyone who donated. Please go and make sure to check out their website, all that stuff. Continue to support them and to help women make sure that their experiences are not so horrific, because we should all have great access to healthcare and all that stuff. My favorite part, I mean, I really loved all of it, but damn, I really enjoyed all of the Hall of Mirrors, surgical table, everything. That was a big thing. Thank you to the audience for just being like, yes, we're going to double the horror now and double it again. Have fun. So I did have fun. So that was a lot of great, but we had a lot of great moments all around from all the sisters here. So definitely keep an eye out to see if we'll do some more Bluebeard Bride, because it's a wonderful game and does some very, very interesting storytelling. Thank you again to Katie for hosting us, supporting us, all that fun stuff. She did all the background and all the overlays and all that production stuff. So give her some love. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, and do all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's all for us for tonight. Thank you again, everyone, for being here for our lovely little tale of feminine horror. And I hope you all have a good night, everyone. See you later.